So welcome everyone. We are well on our way moving along our coaching and confidence series. I hope that you guys are finding the information helpful and more so just like ideas on things that you can do. What I started with today was talking about social media platforms because, as you know, it can be overwhelming as people start to talk about their like pages and Facebook, or you have your Facebook. I feel like for the most part everybody uses their Facebook to an extent in running their business, but you get to where there's Instagram and there's a like page and Snapchat, which, to be honest, I'm awful on that one. I tried using it when I get around Beachbody events and everybody like at Summit and everyone's using the Snapchat. I tend to get in the habit of doing it, but honestly, otherwise I'm awful with Snapchat. But regardless, there's so many outlets that you can use and it can be overwhelming. But if you learn to focus in on something, whatever that thing is for you, you can use this in your favor, because when it comes down to it, like, we build our businesses on social media, and your social media is your doors to your business. I was giving the analysis to someone today, like, when you're talking about like your coaching business, like through your social media, that's the same thing as like somebody else giving like an ad on their, if they have, I'm trying to think, I gave an example to someone today. What did I use? They had their, like, just like a store. Like, if you have a store that's running your business, you're going to use that as your way to share with people. And someone had asked me, they're like, I think it was Michelle, when she had asked me about using like a picture you have, and if it has to be, like in the moment, like the picture you take today of your workout, does it have to be the one you post on Facebook? And here's the thing where I think of that. Like, if you're thinking of, like, my sister-in-law owns a boutique. So when she gets new arrivals in, she doesn't pull them in all wrinkled out of the box that she gets it in and snap a picture of it and throw it up on social media and say, hey, new arrivals are in. She takes time to make it look good, because the only way that image that she posts on social media to drive the traffic to her site is going to get anybody to stop and look is if it looks pretty. So your social media and the pictures that you're using need to look nice. They need to be done in a way that is going to stop somebody from scrolling. And this is whether it's on Pinterest or Facebook or your Instagram or your, like, wherever you put it, you've got to stop somebody with that. So think about it that same way. The pictures that you're using on your social media, it doesn't have to be like, boom, take your selfie and then go throw it up on Facebook as fast as you can. Because I have a feeling a lot of you are probably trying to do that before you head off to work, or with kids climbing on your laps, or whatever it may be, and you're rushed and it's stressful. If you can get into the habit of creating images to use, like I'll give you an example. I took a picture of my dinner tonight. It's my leftovers for lunch tomorrow. The picture I took tonight is the one I'll use tomorrow. Then tomorrow I'll just reheat it in the little storage container that I put it in today, and it won't be pretty. It's still food I'm eating. But tonight, when we all sat down to dinner and I snapped the picture real quick, I wasn't about to take the time to edit it, to make it look pretty, to write a post and put it on Facebook when my family's waiting for dinner. Same thing in the morning. You do your workout. You want to share that you did your workout, because that's what we do. We share what we do on our social media. But if you don't take the time to make it look good and make it look pretty and put it up there to where people are going to want to stop and read what you have to say, no one's going to stop and do it. So, everyone's situation is different. Some people have enough time in the morning that they can edit them in the morning and they're not rushed. But if you find yourself rushing to get things up, or, be having to do them, where it's later at night, where maybe it's, by the time you get to it, like the kids are in bed and then you sit down to do it. If you're posting it at 11 o'clock at night, nobody's going to see it. So make sure you're thinking of that stuff. Like, your social media is the advertisement and doors to your business. You need to think about when you're sharing things so that people are doing it. Same thing, like my sister-in-law's boutique was open at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's going to shop there. Or if somebody was, you probably don't want them in your store anyways. So think about that when you're putting your posts out there, because you need to set them out there at a time that people are going to see them. And this is relevant no matter which platform you're using. So that's just more of like a blanket roll thing to think about. I know of people who, I gave this example when I was talking to Michelle earlier today. I know there's a girl, and I don't know if she always does it, but I remember she shared that she would go into her basement on Sundays with 5 different outfits, and she would take and pose her Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday posts for the week. She would take all her pictures in 5 different outfits. Maybe it's an action shot. Maybe it's a little clip from a video. Maybe it's a selfie. Maybe it's a headstand for fun, whatever it is. She would take all 5. She would get her post ready for the week. Now in the morning, she would then just get up and do her workout, but she already knew what she was going to post about. So she took the time on Sunday to plan and prep for it. So whether you're planning and prepping posts for a blog or posts for your challenge group or posts on your Instagram, whatever it is, the way that you're attracting people to you, it needs to be in some form of a plan. And I think once you do it for a while, it becomes a lot easier. I always keep a blanket of posts in my back pocket. For example, I have like 3 draft posts on my blog of recipes, because I had made a whole bunch of new recipes at once, but I don't want my blog to just be recipes, so I space them out. They're written and they're ready to be posted when I make them. So, or whenever I need to put a post on my blog. But when I put them on my blog, it's not that I just made it that night. I made it and I'm sharing it, and I'm using that outlet to share it. So it's the same thing on your Facebook pages. And I always keep, like I said, with the food, like I cut up a kiwi like 3 days ago and took a really pretty picture of it, because when I usually eat my kiwi, I just cut it up and eat it as I'm going. It's not pretty, but I have one made. And then today, I took that like 2 days ago. Today, I read the benefits of kiwi. Looked it up, because I want to be able to add value to that. It's not just a pretty post. And at some point, I don't know when, but at a point when I need to put a pretty green picture on my Instagram or on my Facebook page, I will use this post. I haven't really felt the time or need to use it. So I'm going to talk about, it's like just like the prep part of it. And I have probably 30 pictures that I have taken, whether it's of my kids, of my food, of quotes that I like, images that I've made that I keep in my favorites. So I have blog posts saved for when I need blog posts. I have pictures saved on my phone, ready to go to be able to share them. And when you're in this business for a while, you can use a little thing called Time Hop. And I've been coaching now for 3 years. So I can look back 3 years on this date, 2 years on this date, or 1 year on this date and see stuff about coaching. I leverage that stuff because nobody else knows that 2 years ago on this date, I used similar language, or the quote I put on that picture, I put on my picture today. So I'm reusing things as much as I can, because you don't have to say, again, think about it of a store. They reuse stuff all the time. They reuse advertisements, they reuse marketing materials. So this is your business that you're running. It's just different and it's unconventional. And I've actually been listening to the audiobook Fanatical Prospecting. There was actually, it's the 2017 Elite Mastermind Group, which any of you, when you achieve Diamond at this point throughout, it runs through the end of the year. But it's a group that Melanie Mitro teamed up with, like Miguel Carrasco and a whole bunch of other coaches. I'm bad with names. Christina Delgado is one of them. But they put this group together to be able to pull other teams together to brainstorm and share ideas. And one of the books that was highly recommended by Andrea Crowder was Fanatical Prospecting. And it's a sales book. So it's written by a guy in sales. And as much as I like to say, like, we're not in sales, the parallels from this book to our coaching business are unreal. And, I can listen to the book, and it's a long book. It's like 8.5 hours on Audible. And I think I'm at like 5 something. And I just started it 2 days ago. Like, I've been listening to it when I'm working out. I put my workout on mute in the car. I've been listening to it everywhere because it has so many great parallels, and it's giving you a different way to think about the business. Because while it's not sales, it is. And, I don't want to use this call to go into the fanatical prospecting, but if you need a book recommendation, this is something I would recommend. But it just goes to show you that when you treat this business like the business that it is and not the social media hobby that you're maybe dabbling in, it's going to start to pay like a business, and it's going to start to feel more like a business the more you treat it like that. So as we talk about, and you guys think about your social media platforms, I want to encourage you to think beyond Facebook. There are coaches that have built very successful businesses purely on Facebook, but eventually you're going to run out of those people who you know right away. So start to think about something else that interests you. Instagram, to me, was the easiest thing to integrate because it's pictures, and I'm putting pictures on Facebook. So I can put the same picture on different social media platforms and use it in the same way. But there's trainings on how to, I just post on Instagram. I don't actually use that so much as like an integration thing. Like I don't go on it as much as I should or could, but there's trainings there. So if you want Instagram to be your thing, set time aside and start Googling YouTube videos on using Instagram to build your business. And the training is out there. You just have to invest your time into it. Similar, if you want to pay for training, I mean, there's stuff for free everywhere. There's a Shalene Instagram impact training, Shalene Johnson. It's been very highly recommended. Again, Instagram's not my thing. Like I haven't done that. There's like page training as well. Again, I put the same thing on my business page as I do on my personal page. There's like page trainings you can pay for. There's like page trainings that you can just do on your own and just Google and figure things out. And then there's your blog. And the blog is probably the slowest turnaround. But for me, I never looked at this business as like I was going to get in and get out. I never looked at it like it was a short-term thing. I was like 100%, I'm just going to ride this out and I'm going to commit to it because I believe in this whole process. So I knew that starting the blog wasn't going to immediately turn around customers. But for me, that's become my number one sharing tool. So I am focusing this year on primarily my blog because that's just something that it pays off in so many different ways to be able to share in different avenues. And also on my Facebook like page. That's what I'm doing. I did pay for the Jessie Reagan like page training. I never finished it. So I don't know that I would, I mean, if you're disciplined enough to do it, people swear by it. I got like more than halfway through and I wasn't blown away and I decided it wasn't worth my time. So but I'm going, the like page is still my focus. Once you pay for those trainings, you have like lifetime access to them. So hopefully, maybe at some point I'll go back and give it another go. But there's other ways to learn. And I'm finding that having my like page, it allows me to make so many new connections because I just have an ongoing ad and you do have to pay for it. I run an ad $3 a day on my like page to just bring in new likes. A lot of them are coaches. And that's fine. But the people who are not coaches, that just gives me a new contact. So we all, it's hard to reach out and invite people to, become a friend. And then it's like, well, why am I friend requesting this random stranger? You have to like have a reason that you want to reach out and connect to them. When someone likes my like page, it's an instant way for me to say, hi, thanks for liking my like page and start that conversation. So that's been since the beginning of January, that's been my main way of bringing in new people. So I like that. To me, that's an easier way to connect and talk to somebody than it is through Instagram saying like, you followed me, and introduce myself that way. So there's so many different ways you can go with it. Point is just pick one. Don't pick 4. Pick one. And if you can master one, you can move on to something else. You can try one, and if you don't like it, you can certainly move on to something else. But don't get caught up in trying to think what everyone else is doing and think that you have to do that. If you have a really awesome Facebook page, you might be able to do a lot with your personal Facebook page. If you have 100 friends on your Facebook page, it's probably not going to take you very far right now. You're going to have to branch out. I've seen so many coaches who just start with their Facebook page and they do great and they're off to a great start. But once they run through the people who they already know, going beyond that and starting to talk to the strangers is what becomes hard. And I can tell you, the team is primarily made up of people from coast to coast Canada down below because I've met them all through social media. And I am able to use that when I'm talking to my coaches to say, look, I didn't know you either. Like I friend requested you, or I followed you on Instagram, or I liked something, or I commented on something. Like, you have to be forward enough to do that. But you in putting yourself out there to be able to share that with other people. So that is the main thing. I don't want to specifically go into any one of the social media platforms. The other thing I really like about like pages is that I talk about running the ad. I like to run my events through there as well, because again, it gives you an easy way to invite, and I can boost. Like I don't know that it started yet, but I'm running the Casseroles group next week, the free group, and I don't know when I set it to start. I think I set an ad up. I think it starts tomorrow and just runs through Monday. So it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days, $3. So it's going to cost me $12 to run this ad, and it will go. I pick my audience, but it's again, same thing as inviting someone that likes your page to then like start that connection and relationship. When someone who responds to an ad that's running on Facebook for my Casseroles group, it gives me another way to reach out to them and say, hey, you responded, you were interested in my event, and then create that conversation. So that's why I really like the like page part. because to me, it's the easier way than to just like search random people and friend request them and hope that they accept it and start the conversations cold call that way. So is there any questions? Are you struggling with a certain social media platform that you don't know how to get started on or anything? Unmute yourself, talk.
I have a question. So
Sure.
I use Instagram a lot. I post mostly everything on Instagram, but the problem with my Instagram page is it's private. And I haven't made it public because it has a lot of family pictures in there. And I think I remember telling you this before. I had problems with a perpetrator threatening me and my family. So I'm very cautious about what I put on there. But I did look at the free training for Shalane Johnson for the Instagram. And she mentioned something about creating a different Instagram page, like with that focuses on what you're doing. Has anybody created a different Instagram account? Like I forget what she called it. It's in my notes somewhere. But it's like one that just drives your business that you're working towards and not so much your personal one.
No, to me, that's the same, like similar approach as you would with a like page. So like you have your personal Facebook page and you create your business like page for that same fact to be able to pull people in strictly related to what your business, information is. So I would say that's the same thing. Like creating another Instagram would be the same thing as adding a like page, in my opinion.
Okay.
I never used Instagram before I started coaching. So to me, it was just the only one I had. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I just, I have a million questions, but I wanted to just say to Michelle, I've been thinking about that too, because I did that same training and I haven't switched my Instagram account over because I have so many people on my Instagram account. But if you did that, one of the things, and you started a new Instagram, one of the things that might be interesting to look into is that Instagrass. Did you hear about that website? Or Megan, do you know about
There's one. I have one on my phone. I think it's Instatract, INS, like Insta Rack. But it's kind of like Instagram and Track combined. But to be honest, every time I would log into it, it would like kick me out. Like I said, I'm awful. I'm like not the person to talk about Instagram. I've used Instagram. Megan's on here and I met her on Instagram, and so is Michelle. I met her on Instagram, but it's been more of just following people. Like I'm not good at actually working the ins and outs of Instagram. I know what you're talking. Is it the website that you're talking about?
Well, the Instagrass thing, because I think if you were starting a brand new Instagram, one of the things that you would want to do probably is like really increase your, leverage your access on that. And Instagrass, I've done that for my Instagram, and I think I now have like 2,500 followers or something crazy like that on Instagram. I don't even know where to start with the whole meeting people on Instagram thing, but it did boost. I did it for like 2 months and it boosted for people who I like, and I actually really connected with people. So I would just say, if you were going to do that, instead of starting from scratch, using a program like that helps boost your sites on that, and then really working it, which I don't do a good job of, but like making the connections, having the conversations, and then like getting them to your Facebook from Instagram, because it's easier to have conversations with them on Facebook than it is on Instagram. That was just the only thing I was going to add.
Yeah, I almost always, if I have someone on Instagram, I try to pull it into email or Facebook, because it's hard to talk on Instagram. Well, you can't type. So like to me, like I want to be able to type a response back.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you very much, Colleen. Anyone else? Anything?
So
I was just going to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I have used Instagram a lot and actually connected with people. There is a chat in there, and I've used it quite a bit and connected with people, then brought them over to Facebook, and I did the Shalene Johnson training as well. The hashtags is the big thing to get more followers too. So wanting to know where your target group is. I've been targeting a lot of runners lately since I'm starting my marathon training. And so I do a lot of running hashtags, which is helping me get more likes and then friending more people and bringing them onto Facebook.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, the hashtags are what matter most in Instagram.
Yes.
So I am training for a bodybuilding competition, which is May 20th. So should I just start using hashtags for bodybuilding?
I would.
Like, you don't want to use Beachbody hashtags because that's just going to get you other Beachbody coaches. You want to hashtag something other than Beachbody stuff.
Well, I don't hashtag any Beachbody stuff right now.
Yeah, so like doing something like whatever else you're doing is going to attract other people interested in fitness who potentially aren't already a coach.
Okay.
That's it.
Are you guys just making up hashtags or looking up hashtags, or
You can look, go look at a bodybuilder or some site, like whatever, like, I don't know, whatever sites, like Arnold Classic. I know that was a big competition recently. Look and see what other people are using.
Okay.
I used to do that. Like, I used to just keep a thing. And that's like something I used to do diligently after every Instagram post. I had like a group of hashtags saved in my phone. That if it was a food post, they got these hashtags. If it was a coaching related post, they got these hashtags. And then if it was a challenge group thing, it got these hashtags. And I had them, and I would just, as soon as I did my post on Instagram, I would go into my notes section and copy paste that as a comment under the photos or under the picture. And I've just gotten out of that habit. It's just my own. I need to get back into it because that's how you relate to other people. It's like I do a lot of mom-related hashtags underneath my posts to try to relate to other moms, even if it's something about a challenge group.
Okay.
When you said, I mean, there's people in here that you met through social media. I'm still struggling with, and I've got all the tools and the conversations. But like when you connect with somebody in a group and then you send a friend request and it just doesn't go anywhere, and then you're like going to their page and seeing what's public and making those, I'm not getting a whole lot of traction out of those. And I know it just takes a lot of time, but I'm wondering if there's like a step I'm missing, or if there's
I think it just depends on the person. Like, I know for Megan, she was someone who talked about, I think I actually first connected with her when I was doing my little bit of running. Maybe I did a marathon relay. So I started, when I did my marathon relay, it allowed me to then connect to other runners, even though I wasn't necessarily a runner. It gave me that avenue to relate to other people. That might have been how the connection first started, but she talked a lot about her fitness. She would do yoga things, and I just thought she was a coach because she posted selfies, and to me, most people who post like sweaty workout selfies are already a coach. And she wasn't, and she had done like all these Beachbody programs, and I don't know, we just started talking, and then she had already had a bunch of programs, never was like, not going to do Shakeology, and she was one where I made an exception to the rule and let her in my challenge group without Shakeology, because I knew she had already had the faith in these home fitness programs. She had done like the P90Xs, and she joined the group and participated. So even though she wasn't drinking Shakeology, she participated. I was like, I think she could make a great coach. So it was months before she went from someone I talked to someone who was in a challenge group who told me, no, I'm not going to coach for like 6 months, before she finally did. So, I think it's a lot of time. Other people, you could meet them and they, on social media. Like I remember it was last June, I had a picture. And again, this was a reuse. I had a picture that I had like used as an ad once that I thought was just great. And it got me like nothing. And it was one where I was like, I need to put a post up. And I was like, I don't know, I've used it many times. This picture of me, just a selfie that has like a cutout picture of all the containers and it says got 21 days on it. I remember I posted that in June, just a random post, and I had like 6 people drop their emails underneath if they were interested. 3 of them bought, and 3 of them are still current challengers. They weren't people I had ever commented on a thing, liked a thing, but they were following me. And they just commented, they bought, they joined that challenge group, and they're still with me 9 months later. So it just depends on, I mean, the building it, it's going to depend on the people you're talking to. It's the prospect. I'm telling you, this fanatical prospecting book, though, it's great. And like, he doesn't, I mean, it's all about just finding the people, and it's very sales talk like, but you can relate it to this business. It's long. I can only imagine what it looks like in a paperback because it's 8 hours. And I don't read, so it's like really hard for me. But there's so many like just parallels where it helps you. And he just gives examples of, like, you sit there and you think like, oh, I'm so busy. Like, how many of you guys are actually writing your tracker down? Like I shared like all those power hour trackers. Like, are you actually going in and tracking every activity every day? I can tell you my March tracker is blank, and it's March 8th. February, I started it on like February 7th, my new tracker. And I did like the 7th through probably like the 22nd. And then life happened apparently, and I didn't do it. So I put in a new one on March 1st, and I haven't put a mark on the paper. I'll be honest. Like, I didn't track. But so he goes into this in this book, and he's like, like your boss comes up to you and it's like, you're struggling. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm doing all the things you're telling me to do, right? You're telling me that I should be inviting and I should be posting, and I'm doing all these things. But when it says like, okay, well, let's look and see what you really did today. And you think, oh, I probably talked to like 50 people. But when you actually look at the sheet, it was actually 10. You're busy because maybe you like made a really cute image that took you like an hour, but you made it really pretty. And then you like reorganized a script, and then you checked in with your challengers, and then you went to Amazon and bought something, and then you made like a grocery list, and then you started thinking about X, Y, and Z. And then you think you've spent this much time on Beachbody, but in reality, you really spent like this much time truly doing actions that are going to move your business forward. So by tracking that down, it allows you to see what are you really doing. I think there's so much to be said about tracking your business. I still like my whiteboard. That's my favorite thing. I'm trying to use this daily activity tracker because I do think it helps. My husband saw it sitting on my desk from February. And if you look where it actually says like invite line, there were like several days where it was blank. He's like, you don't like to invite, do you? I said, no, I have to do it when I get like ballsy and I really feel like I can do it. I'll sit down and do a bunch at once. Like, I don't like to invite any more than anybody else does. You have to do it. So like I get to the point where I'm like, okay, this is going to be my day. And I'll sit down and go through the people. And, this is where when you have free groups and you have those people who you have the relationships with, that's who I start with. I mean, I don't like to invite any more than anybody else, but then you do it and it works. And I'll go running out to him like, I did it. And she said yes. Like, the system works. You just have to ask. And, the guy in the Fanatical Prospecting book, he goes on, he's all about phone sales. Like, that's what he does. And he says most people won't do phones anymore because they say they don't work, but they don't work because nobody's doing them. He thinks phones are the best thing because doesn't everybody, who can pick up their phone right now? Can you pick up your phone? If you're not on it, it's probably sitting within your arm's reach. I guarantee it is. Because nobody goes anywhere without their phone.
I've been closing almost all my sales by phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's been amazing. That's my go-to thing now.
I do that
getting people on the phone.
Yep.
I love it. Like, now I set appointments with when my new invites are, when can I get you on my calendar conference? Because it's hard for them to wiggle away when I have them on the phone. As soon as I say, how does this sound?
There's no delay. Like, when someone tells you I'm interested and you respond back to them, and then 3 days later you get the response back, but the excitement's gone.
Yep.
They went from, Sunday or the Monday morning, like, blah of eating bonbons and cookies and cake and lounging all weekend. Like, maybe they're back in their routine and they think that they got this on their own now. So he talks about how important it is to call people because most people won't call someone. So you be the person who's going to pick up the phone and call them and just talk to them, because to your point, Stacy, like, once you get them on the phone, if somebody says to you, I'm interested, I do that more. So I don't do it as much with a challenge group, but I do it more with coaching. Like, somebody tells me they're interested in coaching, I'm going to send them my business opportunity video. I'm going to tell them to watch it and let me know when they're finished. We'll set up a time to talk. Because when you can get on the phone and talk to someone, you get through all their questions. And then it's like, then they're like, okay, this is exciting. How do we start off? Well, if you're near a computer, I can walk you through it. And then it's just done. And then there's no like going into the back office and hitting refresh 20 times to try to see if an order has been processed to your account yet. Because you just know that it has. The book's really great. I highly recommend it. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And if you're like, I don't like to read, but today I listened to like 20 minutes of it during my workout. And then when I was getting ready, I curled my hair this morning. So I had like 20 minutes of curling my hair and putting makeup on and getting dressed. And I just play it on my phone. So as I'm moving around, folding laundry, I'll get some time in. I ran my daughter on the school bus, took my son to school this morning. Just taking him there, I went picked up my groceries at Walmart, came back home. I got like 40 minutes in between the drive, the waiting at the store, and coming home. If you can get the time in, just have to be creative with it. I've been listening to everything on Audible. I've been cranking through personal development books, and I'm just rotating. I go to like a personal one, and then a business one, and then a more personal one, and a business one. I've been balancing through the two. Any other questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
One last question. I don't have a blog, but is WordPress a good place to go?
WordPress is where you would want to start. I lucked out on that avenue. I did WordPress because somebody was going to teach me how to do WordPress, and then she fell into the Coach Witness Protection Program and was never to be found again. I don't know what happened to her. But anyways, I already created it, so I just went with it and decided I would just figure it out on my own. And since then, everyone used to use Blogger or Blogspot or something, and they've all converted, like Melanie and Deidre and Katie, like they all had Blogger ones, and I guess WordPress is just now the preferred one.
Okay.
And to me, the blog, Jade had come to my house. She still never did it. My coach Jade had came over, and I just walked her through like setting up a blog post. And I have a video that I did like forever ago on a team call that just went through like creating the pages. And I mean, mine looks a little bit different now. I had somebody like redesign it to be able to make like a tab that has all of my fitness programs. I used to have each program I did as its own page. I did finally actually like get professional help to be able to make it look more professional. But mine, it's still just a free version on WordPress. Like I didn't pay for it. It's a basic theme. I made my cover photos, and I just, I use the same cover photo there that's on my Facebook page. All the images that are on my blog have been on my Facebook page or on my social media somewhere. But I would just, I use that as a way to share in my challenge groups and to share what's going on, because I pin things to Pinterest. Because my market is on Pinterest. Moms are on Pinterest. So I would pin everything to Pinterest. And any post, I would always include a quote in it, because I could pin that quote to Pinterest, because people search quotes. I bet you guys all go on Pinterest to find quotes to share on your social media. So I would pin quotes that might be in a recipe or in a challenge group, like a blog that I wrote about my upcoming challenge group, but I would put a quote in there. So someone clicks on that quote, it brings them to my challenge group post. So there's a little bit of strategy. And then there's Pinterest trainings out there too. I'm awful. I paid for one and never did it. Just use the free stuff that's out there. I don't think you have to pay for any training. You really don't. Just use what's out there. Anything else? But I wouldn't necessarily, like the blog to me, you have to be able to, you could just do it and get it started. Like I created mine listening to a call that said, don't wait for the perfect time. You're never going to find the perfect time. Just do it. My first recipe on my blog was simply words. There wasn't even a picture on it, because I was listening to a call that was like walking you through, and I just did it. It wasn't pretty, but once I started it, I committed to 3 posts a week. Did a recipe, a Shakeology recipe, and then whatever I was doing that week in review. Here's my PIO meal plan. Here's what I thought of week 1. Here's my PIO meal plan. Here's how week 2 went. And I recapped it and summarized my results. And I did that program after program after program. So it took a lot of time, and I didn't get a customer for 9 months. I shouldn't even say a customer. I didn't even have somebody fill out the application on my blog for 9 months. But I stayed at it because it allowed me to give another avenue to share information with people. And I mean, now, like, you can go Google 21-day fix recipes and you'll come up with my name because it's been Googled enough and enough people have clicked on mine to build it to where I come up in a search engine. But when I wrote my first blog post that was salsa chicken, I posted it and then I Googled Megan Blinka salsa chicken and nothing came up. Because nobody had been to it yet. Like, my blog was dead to the world because nobody knew about it. So I used my challenge groups by writing tips to stay healthy on the weekend and, you know, how to stay healthy during the holidays and PIO review. And I thought of things that people would Google. And I thought of things that I could share in my challenge group over and over again to get as many clicks as possible to my blog to build up the affinity of my blog. So the blog will take time. I think it's worth it by all means. But just know that you'll need to be able to commit to some sort of consistency. And it doesn't have to be 3 times a week. That's what I did. It can be 2 times a week. But you have to be able to be consistent with it. Alrighty, well, we will leave it at that. Thank you all for getting on tonight, and I will post the recording when it's finished. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.